What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shonen Showdown. I'm your host, Rob, and sitting to the right of me is...
Mamoru Takamura.
Yo, guys, he's rocking the Takamura suit for you guys today. So you know we're talking about Hajime no Ippo. But in talking about Hajime no Ippo, we want to cover Ippo or Miyata. This is the fight we never got to see, so stay tuned, and we're coming right back. Who do you think would win in a fight? We never got to see these two fighters fight professionally, and we know they're rivals. Are you taking Makunouchi Ippo or are you taking ICHIRO Miyata?
Well, if you're gonna think about it, fast forward 10, 15 years, I'll probably be watching that fight with my kids when it finally comes out. However, we all know what would happen in that fight as it stands in the anime. Because the manga's a little different. I've read the manga. It's gonna be some different stats in there. But going off of just the anime, Makunouchi Ippo is winning this fight hands down.
Yes.
Hands down.
Yes.
This is not.
Yes.
It is tough, but it's not that tough. If you actually analyze it, it's not that hard to come to a decision. Makunouchi Ippo has the heart of a warrior. He has the chin of a god. All right, he's taken more hits than anybody else in the division, and arguably in any weight class in the show. That alone puts him above Miyata. Also, you have to factor into account that he's actually fighting in his own weight class. Miyata is naturally a lightweight. Okay, he's always been trying to manage his weight in the sense of being able to stay as a featherweight for a chance to fight Ippo later on. That's his whole motivation. Okay, that's not even his natural weight class. He's not even fighting at max power. Does he have a chance at Ippo? If you're going after Ippo, you need at least 150% of your energy. 150%. You need ultra instinct. Something. You need to come ready. Okay, you're not gonna walk in the ring operating at 75% efficiency, talking about, oh yeah, I think it's a nah, that's
definitely not.
Nah.
Definitely not.
So let's hear if you are allowed to continue hosting the debate or
listen.
What?
Listen, Scotty, I'm not as crazy as to say that Miyata can take Ippo.
Okay.
I also have Ippo winning this fight, but I do think it's a little closer than what you're putting it as, and there's only one reason why.
Yeah.
I think Miyata's Jolt Counter is probably the most dangerous move for Ippo. Let me tell you why. We know that the Jolt Counter is an ability that is able to use the opponent's momentum against them, right?
Yep.
And he's used it against Arnie, which is ridiculous. That was a one-sided fight until he busted out that Jolt Counter. That fight was over. Now, when I think about Ippo and I start looking into his Dempsey Roll, right? And I want to talk about the new Dempsey Roll. I don't even want to talk about the old Dempsey Roll, because if he uses the old Dempsey Roll and Miyata uses his Jolt Counter against that Dempsey Roll, it's a wrap, right? I think Ippo has no chance. I think he's getting knocked out on the spot. But if Ippo uses that new Dempsey Roll, where he's able to stop and start, this changes the game. I don't think Miyata has the stamina to hang with Ippo long enough. Ippo has the resiliency, which we saw in his fight against Jason Ozuma. We saw in his fight against Sendo. He has the resiliency to stay in a fight. I don't think Miyata is beating Ippo playing a game where he's fighting for multiple rounds. If Miyata wants to beat Ippo, he would have to beat Ippo within, I'm only giving him 2 or 3 rounds max of beating Ippo. If you're going past that, it's a wrap. You're not beating Ippo. So when we talk about that new Dempsey Roll, I think that Ippo's ability to stop and start the Dempsey Roll, even though it damages himself, that is what he would need to do in order to take down Miyata, because a regular Dempsey Roll or even a Gazelle Punch, that's too much momentum where Miyata will be able to read him and counter him, because we know that even though Ippo has that super raw natural strength from, carrying buckets of fish for almost his entire life, we know that Miyata is a quicker fighter, and we know that he's also a more defensive fighter. Ippo gives up a lot of hits. He could also take a lot of damage, but he also gives up a lot of hits. Miyata plays very defensive. He's hard to hit. He's hard to catch in the ring. So if Ippo wants a chance, he has to do that stop and start Dempsey Roll. He has to do that new Dempsey Roll, because anything else that he throws out, whether it's an old Dempsey Roll, whether it's a Gazelle Punch, any type of major hit that he does in that style, Miyata will be able to read that, counter it, Jolt Counter, it's a wrap. I don't think he'll beat Miyata in that. But if he uses the new Dempsey Roll, which I will think he will use, Ippo will destroy Miyata. Miyata doesn't have a chance. So I have to give Ippo the chance over Miyata in this situation.
Honestly, if you really think about it, Ippo might not even have to whip out the new Dempsey Roll, the Dempsey Roll 2.0.
Really?
If you think about it, this is all a matter of circumstances. If you think back to their not their first fight, their second fight, Ippo Miyata. Ippo's been training boxing for 3 months, right? 3 months.
Yeah,
completely trash. Don't know how to move. Don't know how to really block, defend himself. Can't really do any feints. Doesn't have any moves in his arsenal other than left straight, right straight, and the key thing that we wanted to try that Ippo wanted to try in that fight, who he wasn't actually taught. He just thought of it. A short uppercut. He didn't even land it. He grazed Miyata on the chin, and that was enough. Yeah. Miyata's chin is worthless, all right? It is worth pennies. And this speaks to the great skill of Miyata himself, the fact that he can get to the OPBF championship and defend his title 4 times in a row with no chin. This is unheard of.
But that's how that's how great of a defensive fighter he is.
Yes, this is amazing. So you can't knock him for it. However, you also have to consider the fact that he also doesn't really have stamina due to his own limitations that he places on himself. You mentioned Arnie Gregory. Let's talk about the Arnie Gregory fight. In the first round, the first hit that Arnie Gregory first landed, his first right hand, Miyata was rocked.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was rocked by the first hit. Yes, he got into the swing of things. He came back. He got the Jolt Counter. He won. It was great. But if he takes hits, it's over. Do you think someone like Arnie Gregory, who's known as an all-rounder boxer, has any type of weapons in his arsenal with power levels comparable to, say, for example, the liver blow or the gazelle punch? Like, I admit, it would be very hard to land those on Miyata because of his defensive skills, and he might just be the fastest person in the division. However, like you said before, he can't last more than 3-4 rounds. That's pretty much his max. If Ippo can last into round, say, 6-7, which we've seen him do time and time again.
Exactly.
Also, you have to note that his power does not decrease with the rounds. We've seen him come back in the 10th round with a Dempsey Roll at 110% power. Okay, so even though he's tired, his power does not decrease. As long as he can get Miyata to go past round 4, it's a wrap. He don't even got to bring out a Dempsey Roll 2.0. It's a wrap. How are you as Miyata Ichiro going to have enough defensive maneuvers to account for the fact that you're not fighting at your natural weight class?
Yeah.
That is his biggest weakness.
And even to build upon that point, even Miyata's fight against Jimmy, we saw that against Jimmy Sisfer, right? That fight, Miyata was basically fighting Jimmy, but he wasn't really actually fighting Jimmy. It was just more of him waiting for an opportunity for him to get a good counter in. And he was just taking punches and trying to find out, when can I get a counter? When can I get a counter? If he does that against Ippo, it's done. All right, Ippo is going to catch him. He's going to clip him. We saw Ippo fight Sendo, not once, but twice. And Sendo has one of the strongest punches, and he landed multiple punches on Ippo, and Ippo was still standing at the end of the day. Ippo is somebody that, you know, his resiliency is just top notch. He can take hits from almost anybody. That's in his weight class. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we want to talk a little, please. But
you can argue the point, but let's save that for another day.
Yeah, save that for another day. But Miyata just cannot. He does not have the stamina, guys. He cannot hang in the ring with Ippo for more than, I only give him 2 or 3 rounds. I'm not giving him anything above that. But I do think that, you know, that Jolt Counter is the only move. That's the move he would have to rely on if he wants a chance to beat Ippo. It would have to be the Jolt Counter. I don't think there's anything else. I don't think just a regular counter. I don't think him trying to tire out Ippo would work. I don't think him clinching. None of that is going to work against Ippo. You're going to have to land a Jolt Counter. And if you're trying to wait for an opportunity to land a Jolt Counter, it's going to be a sad day. It's going to be a sad day for you, Miyata, because Ippo has that, and you said he could win without the new Dempsey Roll. I think I think he would have to rely on it because I think Miyata is that great of a reader. He's able to read a lot of options, which we saw against that fight with Arnie Gregory. So I think that he would have to rely on that new Dempsey Roll, but I don't think that once he busts out that new Dempsey Roll that it would Miyata would still be standing, right? No, there's no shot. Miyata takes a hit, we know, just like you said, his chin is glass. So if Miyata takes a hit, it's a wrap. He's not getting up. So yeah, it's Ippo, guys.
It's clearly Ippo. One final point I want to mention, during the last fight, Ippo's last fight in the show in the final season so far, Ippo beat Sawamura.
Yeah.
Miyata was watching that fight, the whole fight, and he stated to Date Eiji in that fight that Sawamura was a better counter puncher than him. He
did say that. He did say that.
I don't even know if that's true, but if Miyata's saying that, I'm gonna believe him because Miyata is arguably the best counter puncher in the division. So if he's saying there's someone better than him, I'm gonna believe him. I'm gonna believe him. And yes, Ippo did have to bring out the Dempsey Roll 2.0.
Yeah, that's what he did.
But
he had
here's
to bring
the
it
thing,
out,
though. Here's the thing. Sawamura does not have a glass chin. So it would be up there. It would be a hard fight. It would not be, round one, that's it. But if Ippo beats Sawamura and he's a better counter puncher than Miyata's going to have to either completely change the game in terms of counters or he's going to have to learn some new weapons to fight Ippo with.
Right.
And so far, we haven't seen that.
Right.
So, I know the next season is going to come out in, 2025, but he has plenty of time to learn that. But as of right now, it's one-sided.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know if Sawamura has a counter in his arsenal that is of the level of a Jolt counter. I will say that, but his standard counters and his ability to read Ippo are next level. So I do agree with that. So guys, definitely let us know down in the comment section below who you would take, Ippo or Miyata. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comment section below. And with that, we're signing out.